5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
And hello and welcome. This is Truth, Beer, and Podsequences. This is the podcast where my co-host and I listen to all the Cincinnati-based craft beer podcasts from the previous week. We get together at our gracious podcast host. This week we are on location at MadTree Brewing in Oakley.
I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. I am Marco. I'm a brewer and a bartender here locally, and I'm about to introduce the best co-host in Podcastlandia.
I'm Julia. You guys know that. And
that's the joke. I didn't introduce you. I just set you up. You just
said it. You did. You set me up to introduce myself.
Correct.
I am Julia. I like to drink all of the craft beer that Cincinnati has to offer. I like to talk about it with my favorite podcast host, Marco. I like to write funny things about beer, especially during beer event season, which Higher Gravity's doing their pre-sale starting July the 1st. So
are we going to get any July Facebook things from you?
I'm thinking of doing a pre-sale post. I don't know. I tried to find a rhyme for that. It didn't work. I'll think of something.
Yeah,
it'll be good.
Yeah,
it'll be good. We'll have some fun with that. I like to drink. I like to listen to podcasts about Cincinnati craft beer, and I am so glad that I found that you liked to talk about those podcasts as well. So here we are.
Yeah, so here we are.
Yeah.
We are at MadTree Brewing in Oakley, as I said.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, thank you to all the listeners that have been with us for a while, and thank you to anyone who's new. We do not usually record outside of our typical podcast host, which is BC's Bottle Lodge, Montgomery, but we did want to come here to MadTree. Talked about it for a couple of weeks.
We did.
And we didn't just ambush MadTree.
No.
I did do the responsible thing, because, I mean, we're responsible people.
I mean, yes, we totally are.
Over the podcast waves. Sometimes.
On occasion.
In the first 30 minutes.
Yes.
Of an episode.
Before we have beers. Or before we have too many beers.
Or blocks.
We don't have any blocks. So shout out
to
Blocks. They are not a sponsor yet. I need to do some actual contacting and communicating with them, but we love Blocks. We love adding them to our beers. They're really freaking good. MadTree does not have Blocks, but they do have an amazing cocktail list, and I think that at some point, either during the show or after we're done wrapping up, we have plans on one or more of those cocktails.
Yes, we do.
But because this is technically a craft beer podcast...
That's right.
We need to let everyone know what we're drinking.
Yeah. And it wouldn't be a good craft beer podcast without drinks.
It is true. So I am drinking their Keyboard Wizard, which is a dry hop Pilsner. Super fresh, super good. It's not overly hot or humid today, which is nice.
It's not, especially since all the garage doors are open,
yes.
The back doors are open. I mean, I don't know if the AC is on, but it is an okay temperature in here.
Yeah, the big ass fans are on.
It's loud. I just want everyone to know that
we're trying.
We're on location, and this is what happens.
Yes.
This is. We knew it when we were planning it, that it was
not going to be the quietest of locations, but it's an amazing location. And huge thanks to Trevor. I believe it's Trevor that you emailed, who said, it's perfectly fine if you guys come and set up and record here. So huge shout out to Trevor and MadTree for allowing us to take up a table with all of our stuff. But yes, Keyboard Wizard, a dry hop Pilsner. It is absolutely delicious. And Marco, what are you drinking?
I am drinking Soul Drifter, which is... that's a blonde ale, isn't it, with strawberry?
Mm-hmm. As I, swallow a nice big,
a
nice 2-ounce drink of my Keyboard Wizard. But yes,
of course it was 2 ounces, because that's the typical drink.
It really is.
Google.
And we'll get into that later. Did you happen to listen to any craft beer podcasts this week?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I did.
All right. There weren't a lot. So
no, there's a new one that we both started, but it was 3 hours. So we went ahead, and to give it the justice, we are going to cover that next week.
Correct.
But the ones that are sort of in the typical rotation of ours, there weren't as many as
usual.
Other weeks.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's fine. We had a longer episode last week with Joe from Craft Parenting Podcast, which was absolutely hilarious. Had a blast.
We didn't set the audience up when Joe came on the show. we didn't set him up to let them know that part of Craft Parenting Podcast's normal format is for Joe to do a dad joke.
Yes.
So he just came on and ripped them off. And maybe new listeners are like, what is this?
What is going on?
Why are there so many dad jokes in Truth Beer Pod?
But
it's because that's part of his brand. That's he and Caroline's brand.
I think what we enabled him to do, though, I have a feeling in Craft Parenting Pod,
we are enablers.
We are. There's normally only a single dad joke.
Yes.
I think Caroline
That's right.
holds Joe back a little bit and says, you get one. You get one dad joke per episode.
So you're saying he should dad joke throughout the whole pod?
Why not?
I think that's a great idea.
Why not? I mean, you saw what kind of absolute joy came out of our podcast and from Joe by being able to tell so many dad jokes. I loved it. I had a great time. I think Joe had a great time. He seemed to have a good, he seemed to enjoy himself.
I don't want to speak for him, but he did.
Yeah, he totally did. We know. So this episode of Craft Parenting Podcast, the one where Caroline goes brewery hopping, but not in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Not with Cincinnati beers.
Yeah.
Which made this a little interesting. So she went up to Canton, Ohio for a work trip, and she was able to convince a coworker of hers to hit up a couple breweries, and she got all the beers. Her coworker got none of the beers.
Well, she's an influencer.
She is.
She influenced a coworker to go drink.
Yes.
Well, to at least
I think he had a couple non-alcoholic
brewery.
stuff and all that. Right.
Yeah.
It sounded like they had a good time, good food. I still can't believe that she abandoned Joe with the kids. Hopefully,
I'm glad she
the
did,
house
though.
is still. Yeah, I mean, he abandoned her to come record with us.
Yeah.
So therefore, she had to abandon him.
It's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, it's a give and take. It's a push pull. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
So the first brewery that Caroline went to was Fatheads. She went to their Canton location. I've been to their Middleburg Heights location, which is what I thought she meant at first.
Okay.
But they have 3 or 4 different tap rooms all up in the northern Ohio area. And the one that I've been to is not the same one that she went to.
But I've had quite a bit of Fatheads recently. I mean, Headhunter, awesome. And then IB Yusuf came out, and it's so good. And I am crushing it.
Well,
like it's my job.
Too,
like it's like
it kind of is. For this podcast, it kind of is.
In a way, it is my job.
Yeah.
But I did learn something about Fatheads that I did not know. That's a little bit. It's a little bit disappointing.
What's that?
And you know what? It's not. Even a phoenix can rise, right? But I had no idea that they started, their original location was in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I wasn't aware of that either. I'm
but
like,
all of their most successful locations
are in
Ohio.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame that they're by Cleveland, but...
So one of the best things about Cleveland...
No, never mind.
...is Fatheads.
Yes. And the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Come on. Anyway, so to get back to Craft Parenting Podcast, she had 37 flights. Like she pretty much said, I want one of every single beer that you guys have, and then doubled it.
And that's her way of drinking responsibly, which is getting flights. So you have 36 different beers in, little, 4-6 ounce pours.
Right.
And
so overall, you're I'm using air quotes. We didn't set up the Patreon live stream cameras because we're not at BC's.
Right, it's
but I'm using air
difficult.
quotes since no one can see this. When everyone knows, this is how it is with like diet soft drinks and like low fat chips and whatever. You can eat or drink more of it because it's less in calories, carbs, fats, whatever. So that's what Caroline did. Because the serving sizes were smaller, she was able to get much more of them.
Her untapped check-ins, like she had to pause because she checked in too many beers.
It gave her that warning to where it's like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Are you... Do we need to be worried about you?
She's fine.
Have you ever gotten that warning or that little notification from Untapped?
I stopped checking in beers on Untapped a long time ago.
Same here, but when I was, I remember going to a bottle share outside of Listerman, actually. and was checking in stuff and got the, hey, you seem to be checking in an awful lot of beers. Do we need to call someone for you? Which I thought was really nice of them to have to be concerned about my well-being.
Well, who are they going to call? Like an attorney or what are they going to call?
I don't even know. Don't even know how that would work.
Call someone for you.
But so Caroline, let us know.
Can you get me some Chinese food or what?
I need some bread to soak all of this up and an Uber to get me home. So Untapped, if you can do that, if you can build that into your platform, awesome.
And then a ramen bowl delivery.
But Caroline's coworker was driving them around, so it was all good. Everything was fine as far as that was concerned.
That's good. So Caroline found the right person.
She did. She really did. She did mention that she didn't get any growlers of beer because she's like, I don't think they travel well. That is a falsehood. As long as you buckle them in, or if you have a cooler or something, it's fine. I mean, I've brought home growlers from
several. And you
all
buckle
over
them in
place.
like, it's a car seat.
Yeah.
You just
buckle them in. Yeah. I mean, you treat them better than you would a child because it's glass. Kids will heal.
Or
glass
bounce.
will not. Or bounce.
Or bounce. But that's the thing with growlers and the way you care for them.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be a responsible growler parent.
Yes. While Caroline was in Canton, she called in, so they recorded this over the phone. Joe actually took Caroline's role of historian. And he looked up a lot of the history of Fathead Brewing, and that's where we found out that their original location was in Pittsburgh.
Boo.
The other locations, boo for Pittsburgh, but man, they make some damn
fantastic
good beer.
beers.
Absolutely amazing beer.
Great beers.
The other brewery that Caroline went to, I'm sorry, would you like to do this one?
Caroline.
Perfect. I love it. Was Royal Docks Brewing Company, which I've heard of, but I've never had anything by them.
Yeah, this was very interesting because it immediately made me think of my son Vincent, who's obsessed with everything like Great Britain.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Mason, for whatever reason, he's obsessed with Great Britain and Mason.
That's an interesting combination. Like combined somehow, or like a separate.
I mean, it depends.
Subjects?
It depends. Combined, different, sometimes, whatever.
All right. Hey, whatever works for him. That's awesome. Everyone needs to have something that they enjoy and can focus on.
Yeah.
That's fine.
He wants the crushed sodas in Great Britain or Mason. He actually wants to live in Mason.
You're not super far, so maybe you can convince him that those lines kind of like the gnome in Hamilton. Kind of like the gnome living in Hamilton, even though he still says Fairfield. You just in your mind, if you just redraw those property lines, you can be living wherever you want to live.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the tax man might not agree with it per se, but so from Royal Docks Brewing, Caroline talked about the flights she got there, some really delicious sounding beer. This wasn't a super long episode, so we're not giving you everything that they did because you should definitely listen to this episode.
Yeah, we're not going to do that thing that we've done in the past where we actually double the time
of the episode
by talking about the episode. At least we don't think we're going to do that.
We're going to try our best. Caroline brought enough beer back to the hotel for a party of 20 plus. Like it
was a party at Caroline. Everybody was singing.
Everyone was singing. Everyone was partying. People were like, "Oh, hey, did you bring some for us?" Just random people in the hotel lobby. "Oh, did you bring some back for us?" And she's just like,
"It was a party." Like and at the end,
she was throwing down.
At the end, everybody was singing "Sweet Caroline." With warm,
bum, bum, bum.
Touching warm.
You can't do that anymore with COVID.
Yeah.
There's no touching.
No touching.
No touching.
It's over. It's fake.
She also talked about an ice cream flight.
Yes.
That she got at a place called Handel's Homemade Ice Cream. I need that. I need ice cream flights.
Sounds fantastic.
Yes. Well, what else did you have on episode 64 of the Craft Parenting Podcast?
I didn't really have much other than that.
Okay. It was fun. Listen to Joe try to control his children without Caroline, and Caroline getting to have all the beers, and maybe she didn't bring home as many as Joe was hoping.
Yeah,
we'll need an update.
There might have been a little bit of that. Really glad that Caroline got to go out and go to a work trip and have some fun, find a way to have some fun with her work friends, and have a rager in the hotel room. So that's awesome. Way to go, Caroline. And Joe, your turn will come around.
I mean, he did get to hang out with us
Which
for
is
an
almost
entire
like a
Tuesday
rager.
evening. Hey, we allowed him to have a drinking problem instead of a parenting problem for the night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So, cheers to Craft Parenting Pod.
Hell yeah. Their show's a lot of fun. You need to listen to it.
Yeah.
We don't cover every single episode because not every episode is beer related, but the ones that are always a lot of fun to listen to and a lot of fun to recap.
Yeah, they do an excellent job of making sure when they really get into a space and lean into it, they give you the history, they talk about it, and it's a good listen. So
For sure.
Yeah, thanks for the episode, and thanks for being podcast friends and friends of the show and friends of ours. So.
Absolutely. All right, let's take a super quick break, and then we will jump into shift beers.
Sounds good, Julia.
All right, we didn't really leave, so we didn't really make it back from anywhere. Both of our glasses are still halfway full because we don't have a ton to go over, but we are having a great time here at MadTree. There are a ton of people here. The after-work crowd is bustling in. Everything. I love having the windows open. I love feeling the breeze when it comes in.
It's a fun environment.
It's so great.
It's a really great space, a fun environment.
The beers are fantastic.
Beers are fantastic. We're sitting right next to the live wall.
Yes,
the live,
I love it.
It's got greenery everywhere. This place, MadTree really does lean into who they are, which is a brewery that cares about the planet. You can toss a buck up to help them plant trees.
Yep.
They have water bottle fill stations. There's a sign in the restroom to please use both sides of the toilet paper. I mean, they really care.
Although my one complaint about the bathroom, like the toilet paper's fine. I know that we've kind of planned a toilet paper comparison for some of the local bottle shops,
right?
Which we still need to do. My one complaint is they have automatic toilets, which is fine. That's fine. But if you don't realize it, sometimes you don't have enough time. And it's flushing before you're ready for it to flush. So if you notice it, you just put a piece of
premature flushing.
You just
and
put
as
a piece
you know,
of,
anything premature is bad.
Absolutely. So to prevent any premature anything from happening in the bathroom, which sounds awkward, pro tip: just put a piece of toilet paper over the sensor, and then it will only clean away when you are ready for it to clean away. I don't know. There's no good way of saying that.
Is that Julia's twisted tea tip?
That is Julia's twisted tea tip for this week. Cover the automatic sensors on the toilets, and you have full control over the flow. Good God. Good God.
You told the toilet sensor, look at me, I'm the captain now.
I own you.
Right.
Oh, my God.
I'm smarter than you,
I'm
toilet,
smarter than
damn it.
Exactly. It's like, well, wait a minute. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Fun time.
so
speaking of toilets,
shift beers
or shift deers.
Yeah,
the new
Hunting
and Hunting Accessories show.
Hunting and Hunting Accessories show.
Episode 86, Poppin bottles. And caps and deer's asses, apparently.
That's right.
They had a pretty good conversation in the beginning of this episode all about hunting and hunting accessories, including a very interesting discussion on what is the most important hunting accessory that you can have. I thought Chris was dead on.
Yeah.
But it wasn't obvious. Like, it was obvious once he said it, but leading up to that...
Yeah, I don't want to say it was abstract as a concept, but it was definitely non-traditional when you think of the topic.
Right. But
however, once it was said, it was like,
you're like, well,
damn
duh.
it, of course.
Absolutely.
When's the last time you were hunting, Julia?
Oh, it's that one time where I didn't ever. I did never.
Right,
no.
did never?
I did never.
Back before I met Rachel, my wife, I was hunting for ladies.
Oh. All right, so their shift beer was fresh as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
This week.
Yeah.
It was.
It's fresh as fuck. You had some Two-Hearted. Bell's Two-Hearted. I apologize. I just, smacked into the mic there. So not professionals yet.
No. We may never be professionals.
I never claimed to be.
No, definitely not. This is complete amateur hour, but we do our best. We do. Yeah. Our producer finally showed up. I mean, he was running a little behind, but hopefully, it's as we're finishing up the 2 podcasts that we have, we definitely appreciate producer Ben. Oh my God, we're not at BC's. This is
not
problematic.
At BC's.
No,
I did
I'm
communicate
stuck in a
with
routine.
Ben though. He appreciated.
Is he even working tonight?
He is. He appreciated me letting him know that we weren't going to be there.
He's probably worried, like, where am I going to get my tips tonight?
Right,
I mean,
he's probably like
I don't make any money if you guys aren't here.
There went $200 I was counting on today.
Pretty much. But yeah, producer David is here, and if there's anything that we miss, he will certainly let us know.
Yeah, and producer Jason's always listening.
Jason is always listening, although he is more the post-production producer.
Right, post-production.
And he lets me know about stuff that's happening after the fact, but it is still incredibly appreciated.
And then I see him Wednesday afternoon, and yet he texts you about the podcast.
Maybe I'm more approachable. I don't know, man.
Could be. No, I definitely think that's probably part of it.
So
I
Jason,
just seem a little prickly.
You can always let Marco know, and Marco can let me know. I mean, we can do this whole middleman thing. How many jumps until Julia edits the podcast correctly? We'll figure this out one of these days. I have a Truth Beer Pod Twisted Tea tip that came out of Shift Beers. A TBP TTT. Since Josh is slacking on doing this.
You still have the intro from last week, or do we need an intro again this week?
This is related to buying buckets of beer. This week's TBP TTT, our Twisted Tea tip, before paying for a bucket of beer, find out how big the bucket is.
Right.
Because you may be underwhelmed with what you actually get when you buy a bucket of beer, as Josh found out this week. Yes. Let's see.
Just like anything premature is bad, anything underwhelming is also bad.
Also bad. Yes, premature anything, as we talked about a few minutes ago.
That's right.
Let's see. They drank the beer with the fish on it. In case you didn't catch that from the 37-minute drinking segment, which was longer than the actual episode.
Yes.
I don't know how they managed to pull that off. Space-time continuum stuff.
Right.
But the drinking was and they let people know about a new bonus coming to the Shift Beers Patreon members. If you're on, it's a tier between the buy them a 6-pack tier and the $4.99 Chris will kill someone tier. You get Corey's feet pics.
Right.
On the $50 a month Patreon tier.
That's
so sign up for the Shift Beers Patreon.
Yep.
The content is going to be absolutely unreal.
Gorgeous.
Absolutely unreal.
Super gorgeous.
Are you a foot person?
I have feet. I have feet. My wife has feet. I don't. Julia, do you have feet?
I do, and I think one of them is broken right now, or at least part of it. Part of it might be broken. Doctor will tell me tomorrow if I fuck things up again or not, much to Josh's chagrin.
Some of the hazards of what we do, Julia.
I'm telling you, all that walking to and from the bar to get beers over and over and over again. Stress fractures in your heel. I mean, it's a thing. It's painful.
I had an associate. We'll just call him unnamed associate. Come in on a Sunday with, abrasions to the forearms and to the face. And
was he doing an OCR, obstacle course race?
He fell off a bar stool.
Oh,
and so
even better.
He fell off a bar stool, and I asked him. I said, "Look, everybody tells you when you fall off a horse, you got to get right back up and get on again."
Oh yeah.
So
did he get back on the bar stool?
Are you going back to the bar stool? And he said, "Not tonight." And I said, "Well, you better do it soon."
Yeah,
because you might not get back on it.
Yeah, no kidding. Brian randomly dropped a fact about Cincinnati. It had nothing to do with beer, but as they were having a conversation, Brian dropped this nugget of, I don't know if people that aren't familiar with the Cincinnati Zoo know this, but we're getting another baby hippo. BB is pregnant.
Ooh.
Hopefully, it will not be as big of an event as Fiona was. Hopefully, everything will go to term. Hopefully, everything will be perfectly fine. Brian sounded very concerned about this. He didn't really dig into it. But he dropped the, Cincinnati's getting another baby hippo. So that means Listerman is going to have not one Fiona beer release to do, but they're going to have multiple hippo releases that they're now going to have to come up with. As long as they're still partnered with the Cincinnati Zoo. I always thought that was a pretty cool thing. Don't know.
Yeah, that is
if
cool
that's
that
still
they
a
partner
factoid
with.
or not,
I don't know if that's still a thing. I mean, much like Sonder hasn't released anything with Kings Island this year. I mean, they didn't do Blue Ice Cream. They didn't do Giga Coaster. I don't know if it has anything to do with just the distributing and the production schedules or whatnot.
But I'll tell you, the hippo beers were always absolutely fantastic. The Fiona, the BB, the Fiona's birthday, all of that. I love them. They were great. Maybe Brian had some insider information about maybe the place they don't work at releasing a hippo beer.
Maybe. And maybe
you never know.
Maybe Saunders got an announcement coming up soon. Who knows?
Hey, we will have to wait and see.
I have a
you
note.
Know what?
I have a
bet...
note also from our producer. It says, "Go to hell with Twisted Tea."
Oh, not wrong.
When's the last time you had a Twisted Tea, Julia?
2 or 3 months ago. It's been a bit.
Where were you trapped at that you were forced to have a Twisted Tea?
See, that's the thing. I wasn't. I was at the store and I saw, Tall Boy, and I'm like, I haven't had one of those in a while. Let me grab one. And it should have been a Geist tea, if I'm being perfectly honest. That's what I should have grabbed. I didn't. I made a mistake. But kind of going back a little bit to, hopefully either Sonder or Listerman and any kind of new either Kings Island release or Cincinnati Zoo release, maybe that one podcast, the Cincinnati Brewcast, drink.
All right, that's a drink.
Cheers. We'll have some information on one of those for us if they ever put out any
I would like to name, if it's a male, I would like to name the Hippo Josh.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
There are plenty of Joshes. Or, as we all know, Andes are prevalent in the brewing world, and a group of hippos is called a bloat. It could be called a bloat of Andes and be kind of like hippo themed somehow because there are a bunch of Andes in the Cincinnati craft beer world.
You just blew my mind.
I know. It happens on occasion.
And I'm not calling Josh a hippo. I think Josh is really cool, and it'd be cool to have not Truth Beer Pod, but Shift Beers, like lean into a marketing campaign to name a hippo Josh.
So producer David has an amazing name for this.
Okay.
Topher Jangle Jefferson II.
Wow.
Ooh, but we need breath in there somewhere. Maybe. Trying to tie everyone into it. We're all inclusive. We need to make sure that Beth has her piece in the beer if she wants it. Who knows? Who knows? Let's see, what else? A tortilla challenge Patreon video.
Tortilla.
Would be
tortilla.
So good. It would be so good.
Explain this to me again. They were trying to explain it. I'm like, what do you mean slapping people in the face with a tortilla?
So I saw one video of this, and I didn't get it, but I mean, so you take like the big flour tortillas.
Yeah.
And the video that I saw, everyone, like there were 3 or 4 people, you hold like water or some, I guess for them it would be Twisted Tea, beer, whatever, in your mouth. And then you slap people with ranch water. Yeah, long drink.
Long drink.
And then you slap someone with the tortilla. And it doesn't hurt, but it just makes a nice flap kind of sound. And it makes everyone laugh. And so, like you guys are doing right now.
What kind of sound does it make, Julia?
Flap. Does that work?
Yeah. That's a button.
It is.
So,
I can make that happen.
So if we ever do a live show, maybe we can have a tortilla slap extra like Patreon or bonus episode. We're not Patreon, but maybe Shift Beers can do a tortilla slap. So that's what the kids are doing nowadays,
yes.
huh?
Yeah, so they're talking about doing that. I think that would be absolutely ridiculous to watch them do.
That's so stupid.
which I think is the point.
Right.
It's just such a ridiculous thing that there's no way any of
slap
them
you with a floppy tortilla. That's
while holding stuff in your mouth.
Right.
Who spits it out first? I mean,
what's that rule you said about Was it online or the internet?
Oh,
the
was
rule,
it
whatever?
rule? Yeah, that's a totally different rule.
Right, I was gonna say.
There is probably tortilla slap porn out there somewhere. Was it 39? I haven't looked up the internet rules in a long time.
It's okay.
And it's
moving on.
Really, I only had one other note before we get to the main, like the best part of our
That's
Shift
it.
Beers
One other
recap.
note. Okay.
We got another Brian the brewer guy.
Yeah,
I'll
and
call it a segment because
it's
a segment.
It's a segment.
There needs to be a button. Even the Nuba report said we need to come up with a jingle for them to play before any
Yes.
Brian the brewer guy pieces
Right.
on Shift Beers.
And just for all of our listeners that also cross-listen to the
Newbert report.
Newbert report.
And Marco is like pointing up in the air, like north somewhere.
North,
The
America's
Canadians.
hat. So the episode has come up where it sounded like demons took over the
They
Newbert
fixed
report.
it. They re-uploaded.
it.
Rule 34. Thank you, producer David. Rule
There
34
we go.
is the internet rule that if it exists, there is porn of it. So somewhere there is like naked tortilla slapping with God knows what flying out of people's mouths and stuff.
Right.
Shift Beers, that is not the Patreon content we want in any way, shape, or form. Just saying. You need to be fully clothed when you're slapping each other with flour tortillas.
Julia, are you going to Google that at work?
Probably.
Julia tends to,
I tend to Google questionable things at
questionable
work.
things at work.
Not wrong. Not wrong. Haven't gotten asked about it yet, but
Hey,
yeah.
Shippers, by the way, just so you know, Julia doesn't share those those sketchy things that she's Googling at work. Just your Patreon.
Yes.
So
I don't know if that's better or worse, but we'll go with it. Marco, what else did you have about this episode of Shift? It was a shorter-ish episode.
yeah,
But it was still a lot of fun. It
Well,
was still a great time listening to it.
I think one thing that, and every now and then it's okay to take a pause and go back and to talk about some of the things. So there are, if you've listened to Shift Beers a long time, there's a lot of inside jokes that they lean into very heavily
Yes.
week after week. And so to a new listener, they may not catch it or may not understand where it's going. Just either go back and listen to a few episodes or understand that you're going to get the meaning behind the joke as it comes up in the next couple of episodes and episodes and episodes. And so they spent a lot of time leaning into those inside jokes, and they were hilarious for anybody who's listened for any period of time.
Yeah.
If you gave the show a shot, the pod a shot, and we're like, I don't know, I didn't get this, I didn't get that, stick with it, or go back a little bit, and you'll get some of that stuff. And you know that's part of that's part of following a show and being an insider, right? Is that
Or not even an insider, just a fan of the show.
Yeah,
you
a fan
pick
of the
up
show.
on these things that kind of
Pick
come
up on
up
the show, and
episode
they
after episode.
and they come up, and they're funny because they keep coming up and keep coming up, and they find different ways to
That's
put
what
them.
she said?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, and they find different ways to put them in. Speaking of put them in, Corey.
Ooh, Corey, yeah.
So
Anyway,
that's what I wanted to say before we get into the, the thing that we do every week.
tell us about the thing that we do every week.
So the thing that we do every week with Shift Beers is there's one podcast so far that we every week have a drinking game with, and what we do is we count all the audible burps from Shift Beers, and then we tally them up. We give you a total number of burps, and then based off of a Google searched, verified average drink sip of 2 ounces. Don't at me. We let you know how many total ounces of liquid you would have had to consume. And then we break that down into pints, how many pints you would have had to consume if you were doing the Shift Beers drinking game. Someone's going to do this. When you do this, please let us know. Please share it with us on social media. Hit us up. hit up Shift Beers Podcast, and if you plan on doing it for some special event, let us know, and maybe we can work
we'll
something
show up
cool.
for that special
maybe
event.
we can work something cool around that.
We'll crash a wedding for you to do the burp count game
and
there.
certainly please do that responsibly.
Yes, absolutely. So this week for episode 86 of Shift Beers or Shift Deers, depending on which podcast you managed to download.
Right.
There were a total, and again, I have 2 counts for this week.
Okay, let's go.
61 burps. 122 ounces of liquid, which is 7.625 pints of your favorite beverage. Or, if you want to go the blocks route, and again, this is where I'm not 100% that my math was entirely correct. So blocks, on the blocks, at me if I fucked up, let me know. Each blocks is 100 milliliters, which translates to 3.38 ounces, which I just rounded to 3.4 ounces.
Okay, good.
So if you have 61 burps, which we tally to 122 ounces, that also translates to 3,607 milliliters. 36 blocks.
Oh, God.
Would need to be consumed.
Oh, my goodness.
So please don't do that.
Oh, hell.
The blocks are like 7% each. You might die. But I thought that would be something fun to do.
That's fun. No, that sounds like a party.
So either 7.
That sounds like a relay situation.
That's a really good time until it's not a good time.
Yeah.
7.625 pints of your favorite beverage or 36 blocks. Again, if my math is correct, if someone's math is better than mine, please correct me, because I think it'd be a lot of fun to do the number of blocks each week as well as we continue.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Excellent work, Julia.
That's all that I had for Shift Beers. You know what? We might need to average, like, if you put a blocks in each pint that you drank.
Oh.
How many?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So shit-faced.
Blocks to burp ratio should be lower. Yes. Yes, it should be. Maybe like half a blocks per burp. So that would be that. I mean, that's still 18 blocks. That's still a shit ton of blocks. Quarter it.
Oh, my God.
So 9 blocks.
Getting pitted.
So that actually, that's a lot, but that actually, I feel like 9 blocks translates closer to the 7.625 pints of beer. Because I mean, your beer could be anything from like a really low, like 4% sessionable type beer, to like the Utopia's level. No, don't. Just don't.
Yeah,
just
don't. That's not advised.
We claim no responsibility, liability, anything for anyone that does the burp count.
And not only that, the opinions on this show
You could just
are
be-
strictly the
You
opinions
spoon it.
of the people
So
on
producer
the show.
David's
not
asking,
any-
like, for our blocks count. Like, are you just eating the blocks? You don't, like, bite into it. You have to be civilized and just, like, scoop it out with a spoon. And just, spoon feed yourself blocks.
You never know. You just get in there like,
how's that? How's that
it's like
go?
motorboat of blocks. It's like,
If you guys do that, we need pics and videos, because, my God, that would be... So would you have, like, 2 blocks upside down, like, right next to each other, and you just... motorboat between the two? I don't know, just saying. I'm trying to figure out the logistics of this so that I don't have to Google it while I'm at work, okay?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
No, Google it while you're at work.
I'm trying to keep my job intact here.
Which, by the way, congratulations at 1 year. It's your job.
Which means we are almost at 1 year of Truth, Beer, and Podsequences.
That does mean that. And we have a special announcement coming out pretty soon for our 1 year anniversary.
Well, special if you're not an asshole like someone on Facebook.
Whatever.
You know what?
Whatever.
Yeah. Fuck you, John.
Yeah.
We don't care about your opinion.
Yeah.
Or do we?
It's no. No, but we...
That kind of made my day, to be honest, that we got a little hate message.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's like, hey, someone hates us. That's awesome. Someone cared enough to hate us. So,
we
Julia,
made it.
If someone loves us or hates us, I mean, how do they get in contact with the show?
They can reach out to us on social media. We are at Truth Beer Pod. You can email us, truthbeerpod@gmail.com. Please like, subscribe, review, follow, share. All of our episodes are up on YouTube, so you can listen to it there. if you have a complaint about our show, I mean, you can always let us know, or you can just @Raging Hop on Twitter, and he'll comb through all of them, let us know the best complaints that he has seen, and we'll let you know about them. We haven't seen any come across our desks or our tables or
We'll just wait
bar
till
tops.
Josh thinks that I meant like I was calling him a hippo, which I was not.
Yeah, no,
I just was being, loving, and he's a jovial person, and why not have a hippo named after a jovial person?
I mean, yeah.
You gonna hang me out there like that, Julia? Is that what we're doing?
No, I was trying to. Josh, you know we love you. This isn't ending as well as I thought it would.
That's all right.
Yeah.
No.
If you would like to buy us a beer, buy us a pint or two, or help us get better headphones, which producer David says we have shit headphones, and I don't know, I can hear, so they obviously work.
I also want to give a shout out. I'm not going to say their name because I want them to, in any way be, embarrassed or anything. But I do want to say that a person who listens to the show saw me at one of the places that I work at. Maybe I was sitting there having a drink, and he said, "Hey, I listen to the pod. You said if you want to support us, I don't do this online, you send money thing, but I got your next beer." And I'm like, dude, that's awesome. So it was awesome. Thank you very much. Truly appreciate it. You know who you are.
Thank you.
I truly appreciate it.
But if you do want to do that online, go to truthbeerpod.com, and we have a nice big blue support us link.
Right.
And you can just toss a couple bucks our way. We would really appreciate it. Other than that, Marco, what are you doing next week?
I am going to listen to all the Cincinnati-based craft beer podcasts and get together with you. And I think we're planning to be back at our traditional location, BC's Bottle Lodge, Montgomery.
Hell yeah.
So you going to do the same?
Yeah, I'll see you there.
Awesome. Cheers.
Awesome. Cheers, guys.